What's your most satisfying "I told you so" moment you never actually said out loud? When Brad held my head underwater in the school pool until I passed out, I genuinely thought I was going to die at 16 years old. My mom showed up at the hospital like a tornado. I'd never seen her that angry before. She was screaming at nurses for information, and her mascara was running down her face. When she finally saw me hooked up to oxygen, she broke down crying. She held my hand so tight it hurt and kept repeating, "I will always protect you no matter what. No one will ever hurt my baby again." She meant it too. The next day, she dragged 2 cops to Brad's house and filed a restraining order. She transferred me to a different school, even though it meant driving an extra hour every morning. She signed us both up for self-defense classes and went to every single one. For the next few months, she checked on me constantly and made sure I felt safe. I finally started sleeping through the night again, and I genuinely believed her for the next 4 years, until I walked into her apartment unannounced on Mother's Day. I instantly dropped the flowers I was holding while I watched the scene that was unfolding in front of me. Brad was shirtless on her couch with my mom's head resting on his chest. They were watching some movie and sharing popcorn like a normal couple. My mom jumped up when she saw me. Her face went white and then red. "Honey, I can explain," I just said. "How long?" My voice sounded weird and distant. With this motherly tone, she said, "6 months. But people change, sweetie. He's been through therapy." I felt like I was underwater again. My chest was tight and I couldn't breathe properly. Brad sat up slowly and gave me this little smirk, the same one he had right before he pushed my head under. "Hey buddy, your mom said you might stop by." I backed away and hit the wall. My mom stepped toward me with her hands out like I was some scared animal. "Please just listen. You were both kids. It was a stupid prank that went too far." Gasping for air, I remember just saying, "A prank?" I was unconscious. The paramedic said another 30 seconds and I would have died. She shook her head and smiled sadly. "You're remembering it worse than it was, honey. You were both just horsing around in the pool." I still couldn't breathe, but I responded, "That's not what happened and you know it. You filed a restraining order." While tearing up, she said, "I overreacted. I was emotional." She glanced back at Brad like she was apologizing to him. "Brad told me what really happened. You challenged him to a breath-holding contest." The room started spinning. My own mother was looking at me like I was the liar, like I made the whole thing up. Brad stood up and walked closer. I pressed myself against the wall. "I feel terrible about that misunderstanding, man. I've changed a lot since then." My mom beamed at him like he was some kind of hero. Then she turned back to me with disappointment in her eyes. "Your anger about this is concerning, sweetie. It's been 4 years. This grudge is why you struggle with relationships." I left without saying another word. She called me 53 times that week, left voicemails about how I was making her choose between her happiness and her son, how Brad was the real victim because he had to live with my accusations. She even got my sister to text me about how I was ruining mom's life. 3 months later, she sent me a wedding invitation. I threw it in the trash. She married him anyway and posted photos all over Facebook with captions like, "My happy little family" and "Second chances at love." I stopped going home for holidays, got my own apartment and worked 60 hours a week to afford it. Graduated college without her there because she was on her honeymoon with Brad. I started dating an amazing girl who actually believed me when I told her why I couldn't go swimming. 2 years later, my phone rang at 2 a.m. My mom was hysteric and I could barely understand her through the sobbing. Brad had been arrested for assaulting his new girlfriend. He'd held her head underwater in their bathtub during an argument. The girl was pressing charges and my mom had to testify about the bruises on her neck. "Please, baby, I need somewhere to stay. I'm scared of him." I sat up in bed and looked at my fiancé sleeping peacefully beside me. She told me just last week that she would never let anyone who hurt me near our future kids. I responded, "He's changed, remember? People grow up." She was crying hysterically. "But you're my son. You have to help me. I protected you when you needed it and I finally had my chance." "No, mom, you promised to protect me. Then you married him." She was quiet for a long moment, then she